Alright guys, what is going on? As we move past our grueling cancer journey and progress into the real world once again, I'm just using that as a good hook. We were actually doing a lot of stuff even while on treatment, but now we can officially put it behind us, and basically every appointment now is just checking everything out to make sure that everything is looking good. And I had one of those appointments yesterday, on January 23rd. So we are now 2 months and 1 day. Well, today 2 months and 2 days because it's the 24th. But basically, we are 2 months post radiation therapy treatment, and the ophthalmologist wanted to check out my eye because obviously radiation treatment is toxic for whatever area of the body that you are treating, in this case the eye. And we did a full scale of exams. The last time we did exams is in October. I believe it was October 22nd if I'm not mistaken. So it was about a week into radiation therapy, which wouldn't be enough time for any side effects to show up. But after the 5.5 weeks of radiation therapy that we did end up doing, and a couple months for the healthy cells to heal, another ophthalmologist appointment was in order. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma in the left orbit back in July of 2024. I started treatment mid-July, which consisted of 5 months of chemo and a month of radiation therapy, or 5.5 weeks, 28 days to be exact, which was determined to be necessary after imaging was done in end of September, which showed still a marker for cancerous cells in the orbit of my eye. So instead of 20 days of radiation, which would have been the route that we would have taken if there was no evidence of disease after the mid-treatment scans, we did 28 because of that evidence of disease that still existed at the end of September. And then we begun radiation therapy, which is the most toxic to the eye and probably the most toxic long-term. Chemotherapy symptoms are incredibly bad in the moment, but they do all wear off, whereas radiation therapy can cause long-term damage. Now, there was a few main risks that were prevalent with the radiation therapy. Inflammation was all but guaranteed doing it, so we had a pretty inflamed eye for a little bit there. I sometimes feel like even when I look at it on videos now, it still looks a bit inflamed, but maybe I'm just seeing things, who knows. Then there was a risk of a cataract, which is more of a long-term risk. It's the most prevalent long-term risk, which is basically your immune system's reaction to toxins in your eye, and it forms a cloudy, like film above your eye, and that would result in blurry vision. That's the main long-term risk. And then as far as the short-term goes, irritation of the eye, which I did have very badly for the month following treatment, but it has appeared to resolve, at least for the most part. I think both of my eyes look pretty white now, and that looks to be resolved for the most part, like I said. And then the loss of hair that is on my left eyebrow, which is probably not going to go back to normal just because of the way the radiation therapy was done. The marker for the cancerous cells was actually at the top of my orbit, so literally right in that eyebrow region, which was where a lot of the radiation was shot. So it damaged a lot of the hair cells, and that's why it appears to have this less than full look. Like, if you can look closely, there actually is a shadow there, but it's not full. Like, I'm gonna show you guys some very good pictures in a minute. There's probably one in the thumbnail as well, but very professionally done pictures with like a professional camera of my eyes before and after. So in October and in January. We never went to this doctor beforehand when my eye was popping out of my head in July. So we don't have the exact same type of pictures. But I do have some, which I'm not going to include in this video, just to kind of try and get away from the scene of the crime, if you will. So after an in-depth vision testing of peripherals, reaction time, the nerves in the eye, the proptosis, which is non-existent now. The great news is that I'm still 20/20 in both the left and the right eye. Everything is exactly the same as it was in October. So that means the nerves are still healthy, movement still works as it should. The irises look good. Everything from like a medical standpoint is absolutely perfect. The only thing that could get worse over time is that cataract that could form. So in order to test for that, they're going to do a follow-up in July. So theoretically, I don't have to go to the ophthalmologist until July. But cataracts could take years to form, or they could never form at all. So that's the only thing that could get worse. For the most part, the rest of it is gonna just stay as it is. The only things, I'm gonna put the picture right here now of my eye before and after. It's like pictures of basically both eyes, one eye, from both visits. And what if I was a doctor? What I would say about the eye is that the area where the boogers form is more red than it used to be in this photo, and also that the shape of the eye is slightly different. Beforehand, I believe both eyes were the exact same shape. I kind of have almond-shaped eyes, but now it appears as though the left eye, at least when you take a professional photo, has more of a curve to it. It's like a slightly different shape. It looks a bit weird in my opinion, but it's really only noticeable when you take a professional photo or if you zoom in really close. And it might actually still be healing. They don't really know exactly, but there is a chance it gets better over the coming months. So yeah, basically there is nothing from a medical perspective that is different than before cancer, and the only things are that the shape of the eye is a bit morphed and the eyebrow is pretty much completely screwed. I mean, look, it's there, but it's very, very weak. I'm gonna put a picture of how my eyebrows used to be. Probably not gonna get back there again, unfortunately. But it is weird because all throughout treatment, I actually had the eyebrows. This is a very strange thing. Basically, I had 4 hair loss chemos, and until the 4th one, I had both eyebrows. They were basically normal. So even when I had no beard and no hair, I still had the eyebrows. And then they fell out after the 4th hair loss chemo. But by the time we started radiation a month later, both eyebrows started to grow in pretty evenly. And that continued to be the case until the last week and a half of radiation, where the eyebrows started to lose hair. And after all was said and done, over the next month, the eyebrow went all the way back to being bald, completely as bald as it's ever been. And then the other side obviously just kept growing in. So, that's very interesting how it lasted all those weeks of radiation, and then by the end, it finally gave in. There's probably a medical explanation for that. It's probably that the radiation takes some time to take effect and download into your system, and that kind of kills off the hair cells in the region. But yeah, with all that being said, definitely a great visit. Happy that this entire thing is behind me. I did ask, what would have happened if we avoided the radiation entirely, and the ophthalmologist said he can't say for sure that it would have reoccurred. So, take that for what you will. That's always the problem with toxic treatments. You always want to know what would have happened if you didn't do it. But obviously, not knowing is a good problem to have. So, with all that being said, thanks for watching. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this one. Next visits, just for the hell of it, to keep you guys updated, we got post-treatment radiation visit on Tuesday, which is a telehealth, so that's online. It's basically going to be a recap of what I just told you guys. And then the next scans, the MRI, are set for April 8th. So with all that being said, thanks for watching. Take care. More to come. I'll see you all soon. Peace.